more schools on the lineup for you, and you're going to be learning about these 3 schools. If you're just joining us for the first time today, it's okay. Brains and Butter would make available the videos of all the other schools that have joined, that have spoken before now. And if you're here today, we're happy to have you here. If there's anyone you know that is supposed to be here, please just beckon on them, tell them to join the call because the fair is about to begin today. We expect nothing but excellent information and knowledge here at the fair. Today, we're going to be meeting the top management of 3 amazing schools, 3 amazing boarding schools. And we're going to have the opportunity to interact with them, ask all those questions you've always wanted to ask. If there's anything you want to ask that has to do with education or anything like that, there are experts on ground to answer those questions. So by all means, ask those questions, bring on those discussions, and we have experts to do justice to them. We're also going to be seeing we also have on ground the management of Brains and Butter. They're going to be asking all those questions. So if you have any challenge making a choice, like picking the right choice for the right school for your children, like we'll always say, not every school is for every child, but trust me, there is a suitable school for every child. So Brains and Butter is not going to leave you alone to make that decision on your own. They're going to hold you by the hand and help you make those important decisions. So today is day 5. Like I said, it is bright and beautiful here. I'd love to know what the weather is like wherever you're joining us from. And it would also be nice to know what you're joining us from as well. I'm joining the fair from Lagos, Nigeria. Yeah. So today we're going to be seeing Aldenham School, Burgess Hills Girls School, and Caterham School. Then we're also going to be having a panel session. And the panel session, the topic for today is the role of pastoral care in ensuring student success. So it promises to be a very, very nice time. So like I always say, look for a comfortable spot wherever you are, grab a cup of tea and some biscuits if you like. Look for a comfortable spot, sit down, and let's go on this ride together because it promises to be a journey of education, knowledge, and everything beautiful. So if you're ready to start the fair, I am ready. So let's get this first.
Hi, sorry. Just to say, Brentwood are here as well.
Yes. Oh, Brentwood. Okay. You're
Thank
welcome,
you.
Mr.
Okay.
Brian. Okay. Okay, so if you're ready, I'm ready. The first school to go today will be Aldenham School. And representing Aldenham School, I see Mr. Paul Dunstan and Miss Liz Beach. Miss Liz Beach is the Foundation Marketing and Admissions Manager for Aldenham School. You're welcome. Parents, feel free to clap, feel free to use your emojis, and remember to drop your questions. Let's go.
Hello, everybody. I'm Liz. I'm obviously working at Aldenham. Mr. Dunstan, my colleague, is going to take you through our presentation. Obviously, any questions, please do ask. Hope you enjoy. And thank you to Brains and Butter for hosting the event.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you to Brains and Butter. Good morning, everybody. It's 11 o'clock here in the UK. It is actually sunny at the moment. I'm just looking out of the window. We've had all sorts of interesting weather over the last few days, particularly stormy and cold, but we're okay at the moment. So I'm going to share my screen with you and take you through a quick presentation, and then hopefully we can answer any questions that you have as we go through. So if you tell me when you can see my screen, and then I will work from there.
We can see your screen.
Great, thank you. So I'm going to put the presentation on properly. Perfect. Well, welcome. We are from Aldenham School, and we are one of the premier boarding schools in the UK. We're part of the HMC, the Headmasters and Headmistresses Conference, which is of the top 360 or so schools in the world. And we're part of the HMC. And telling you today a little bit more about us, We were established in 1597, so we've been going for a very long time, and we're here on the same site that we started with way back then. Our location is in Hertfordshire, which is beautiful, leafy, green Hertfordshire countryside. We have 115 acres of space for the children to live, to breathe, and to grow, and to experience that wonderful countryside. And yet we are also only 25 minutes from central London on the train. So we have everything that the capital has to offer in terms of its culture, its theatre, its sport, its museums, and everything else. And of course, for the older children, they also like to take advantage of it for shopping as well. But we're also quite close to Watford, which is another a big town here in the UK. So we have something which is slightly smaller than going into London. But being in leafy green Hertfordshire, the children are very safe and secure as well. And we have that well and truly managed on the school campus in terms of our security and our pastoral care. All the boarding houses, which I'll talk about later, have magnetically locked doors. We track where the children are, and we look after them very, very carefully. We're also under 1 hour from 4 international airports. We're only 45 minutes from Heathrow, which is a fantastic location. In fact, if you're arriving at a different time, it's even faster than that. It's about half an hour, but we obviously have some traffic to contend with. We're also only about 40 minutes from Luton Airport as well, and we have City and Stansted, which are very close to us too. Aldenham is based on this model of education. We believe that for children to succeed, they have to be motivated. And this itself breeds this cycle of success, that the more successful they are, the more motivated they are. In order to achieve that, they have to feel a sense of belonging in the place in which they are. They have to have a purpose and feel that they know what they're driving for. They have to have a sense of autonomy, that they are a self rather than just one cog in a machine. They are themselves able to control things a little bit, make their own decisions. And they have to feel that they are competent in what they are achieving and what they're attempting to do. And we achieve that for the children and help them feel that sense of purpose, belonging, competence, and autonomy through 3 main areas. That's our academic work, our pastoral care, and our co-curricular program. And all of these interlock together as our whole model of the whole child at the center, which breeds that cycle of motivation and success. So fundamentally, you'll find that children at Aldenham are happy and contented. The Good Schools Guide often refers to the fact that the children here are the happiest they've met in many, many visits to many, many schools. We have a lot of experience with international students. We've been a boarding school since day one. We also do have day students, and being close to North London, we actually have a large multicultural mix of students. So it has a very international cosmopolitan feel, despite being very much a British boarding school with British education at its heart. But we do welcome students from all over the world, including Nigeria. We have also, in terms of the rest of West Africa, we also have some from Tanzania. We have a number of students from Ghana. We're very popular with Ghana as well. But I used to be a boarding housemaster. I'm now the commercial director across the foundation. But when I ran a boarding house, I did have children from Nigeria in my house. I always enjoyed working with them. I found that their focus, their academic hard work, and their willingness to integrate and get stuck into everything that Aldenham has to offer was always fantastic. So we have around 8% of the student body is made up with international boarders in terms of those that come over from other countries, but we have plenty of other international students that are not sponsored by us. They maybe come over because their parents work here and they're on their parents' visa, but they still come in and enjoy being a day pupil or a flexi boarder at Aldenham. And we have very strong support systems that help those children integrate wherever they come from. And we'll be talking about pastoral care a bit later on. So fundamentally here, children need to feel at home. People who feel at home, feel settled, are then able to perform well, both in their co-curricular work, their sport, and also fundamentally their academic program. So as pastoral care, each child is part of a house, which is where they will live. And they have in there a dedicated housemaster or housemistress who will be fundamentally their parent when they are here. And that person will be looking carefully after your children, but will also be in contact with you regularly and with your child's guardian. And that relationship between school, parents, guardian is fundamental to make everything work for your children. They also have a personal tutor who they see every single day, regularly check in throughout the day, and obviously all their subject specialists will be working with them too. And all the children here feel that sense of belonging. So they are known. They're not just one cog in a large machine, as I said. They feel that they are known and therefore cared for and looked after. I know this is less of an issue in Nigeria, but we do have specialist English as an additional language teachers available for people that do need additional English support. And as part of our pastoral care, we use what's called the STEER system, which is an online checklist that the children complete regularly, and they complete it openly and honestly. And this helps us to pick up any kind of concerns over the child's mental health or well-being, even sometimes before the child even knows that they themselves are concerned. So we are proactive in our response to issues of homesickness or pressure or stress or anything like that. And we are a STEER champion school. We've been using it for a few years, and in 2024, we were recognized especially for our excellent using that program. Cultural integration, obviously, how do the children fit in? Well, we have regular cultural activities and we run a very diverse program. We have a buddy system that enables children to meet with the older children when they arrive, and someone who's been through that recently to help them settle in. And we make sure that they feel very, very at home. In our boarding houses, we have 4 senior houses, McGill's, Beavers, and Kennedy's for boys, Hall's House for girls. We also have 2 day houses, 1 boys, 1 girls, and we have a junior house for our 11 to 12 students, age 11 to 12, which is mixed, which is for boys and girls, although of course they're separated in terms of bedrooms and things. All our houses are very modern. They've had recent refits. They've got full of modern technology and very, very comfortable, although some of them actually were built even in 1887. Flexiboarding, as I said, is very popular here. So there are children during the week, 150 of them will board 2, 3, 4 nights a week, but it's slightly quieter at the weekend for the international boarders who are able to just settle and relax a little at home rather than it being quite so busy as you'll find in some boarding schools. But we do run a busy co-curricular program both during the week and at the weekends for the international boarders. And the international boarders will be taken, we have no exeats, by the way. There is no sport fixture when we have an exeat, but the children that are international boarders are not sent home or to guardians. They'll be able to travel with us to see something like Oxford or Cambridge. We've taken them up to Edinburgh for the weekend, to Belfast for the weekend, to York for the weekend. So they get an opportunity to experience some more of the UK. We're a very diverse community. As I've said, we've got children from Nigeria, also Germany, Spain, Ghana, China, Ukraine, and some other places too. We have this emphasis in the school on inclusion, on respect. We're a very, very tolerant and friendly school, and the people always comment on that. We do have regular talks on diversity and respect. We have a Christian foundation, so we have a chapel service every week. We have a full-time Church of England priest who is there as chaplain to the children, and he preaches every week apart on this sort of diversity and inclusion and making sure that everybody looks after each other. And I'm very proud to say that they do. I've been here 25 years. Liz has been here 20 years. We feel very at home here ourselves, and it's certainly a very welcoming community. We have a huge co-curricular provision. A wide range of activities take place every week. Everything from music, drama, art. There's always something that your children will find that they excel in, even if it's something they've never tried before they come here. Those opportunities lead to that sense of autonomy where they can steer their own direction, but also that sense of belonging. They find themselves at home, whether it's on the stage, whether it's performing music, or whether, as I said, it's in our sports provision. Aldenham is really, really well known for its sport. We are not a massive school. We've only got 670 students in the senior school, but we punch well above our weight. We are regularly winning, particularly in football, the ISFA and the ESFA competitions. At every level, we've been winning in those cups. And in the last 7 years, so that's one school cycle, starting age 11, leaving age 18, in the last 7 years, we have produced 11 professional footballers who now play in the Premiership for Premiership clubs and even internationally playing in things like the Champions League. Miles Lewis-Skelly, who left us last year, currently playing for Arsenal and playing in the first team, and representing Arsenal in the Champions League. We have a very, very successful football program. But it's not just football. We also have other sports, and your children will have the opportunity to play and excel and practice other sports, either at elite level or the just for fun. We run plenty of sporting tours all over the world, and sport is something that we are really, really well known for. The academics, though, we are a school. We take our academics very seriously. We are selective, but we're not elite selective. What I mean by that is that although the top third of our school would walk into highly, highly selective schools, we also have some people in the middle and some people who need a little bit more support. We feel that's more like real life, and that you need to learn to mix with other people. And therefore, Aldenham is like a slice of real life. So if you're highly academic, you will go on to study at Oxford or Cambridge, or go and study medicine, or go into a STEM subject and study at UCL or LSE or King's or something like that. But if you want instead to go to a music conservatoire, or you want to go straight into the West End stage, or you want instead to go into professional sport and the academics is not specifically for you, then we cater for you as well extremely well. So we have very good GCSE and A-level results, but we are not highly, highly selective in that way. We have very modern facilities. I've mentioned here that we're a Microsoft showcase school. We actually teach other schools how to use their IT platforms and how to use technology in education. So we're very advanced in that area. So why might you want to choose us? Well, apart from our fantastic location and ease of access, and the fact that we have the capital on our doorstep, and yet you're still in those beautiful leafy fields that you can see there on that picture, we have both rich tradition and history combined with modern facilities. We do enjoy working with our international students. We feel that it actually helps Aldenham be who it is, and it always has done. We have this fantastic sports and co-curricular program, despite also taking our academic standards really, really carefully. And around 95% of our students will get their first choice university. 100% of our students will get offers at university, and many, many of them will take them up. Around 80% of our students actually go to Russell Group universities, or they have the right to go to Russell Group universities, even if they choose to go somewhere else. So I'm going to end with the testimonial. This is from Jason, who was actually placed with us by Brains and Butter. So Brains and Butter have worked with us for some time. They've placed a number of students here, but Jason was very keen to share his testimonial. He said, "I know what Nigerian families want to hear, so you can be the judge of whether you agree with him or not." But he focuses on the sports, which is something he likes to do. Now, he is studying politics, economics, and geography at A-level, but he has told you here that sports at Aldenham are exceptional. I'm proud to represent the school on both the football and the basketball teams. Training sessions are rigorously rewarding, and the emphasis on teamwork and discipline has not only improved my skills, but also built my confidence. And competing in matches and tournaments has been a thrilling experience, and the teams I have played in share a strong bond. So that's Jason. I'm sure we would love to work with you and your children too. So I thank you very much. If you have any questions or any comments, then please do email admissions@aldenham.com, and Liz can work with you on that. And obviously we're happy now to take any questions live as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that presentation. Amazing. Okay, so we have a question already. Parents, please keep the questions coming. And if you would like to ask a question live, we would make that possible. We would really love to hear from you, actually. Would love to hear from you. So if you want to ask your questions live, please, by all means, do. Okay, so we have a question, and it says, how does the school foster a sense of belonging for students from diverse backgrounds?
Okay, so we foster a sense of belonging actually for every child. It's really, really important. So it's not just those that don't come from the UK. Everybody needs to feel a sense of belonging, and that's whether actually they're a day student or whether they are a boarding student. It's really, really important to us, that sense of belonging, which is why it's core in our model of education. We feel that children who feel they belong at school perform better. So rather than being a place they just go for lessons and then go home, it becomes a home from home, even for the day students. So it's absolutely vital for us. So what do we do? Well, our boarding houses and our day houses become the home that they have whilst they are at school. And this is where they have their closest network of friends, where they get known and get to know the members of staff really, really well. There are house activities, house events. And in that first term for us, we have a mega event, our house music competition, where every student in the entire school takes part in the house music competition. Now, this involves solo instruments, it involves ensembles playing, it involves a part song competition, and the biggest one of all is the house unison, where every member of every house competes as a choir against the other houses. And they start working on this the moment they arrive, and therefore they've come from all sorts of backgrounds. They don't necessarily know each other at that point, and yet they have this common goal that everybody works to, and they spend a huge amount of time working on this. And at the end of the October, so right before they break up for the first half-term holiday, in front of 1,500 people, everybody competes and performs. It's a huge sense of gelling and belonging that everybody wants to be part of. They feel a sense of pride in their house. They care for each other. The stress, the strain, the work, the achievement is so vital. It's the one thing that the students who've been here talk about sometimes 20, 30 years later, is the day they competed or won the house music. So that's the first thing. There's plenty of other things we do as well, whether it's with particular food, making people belong. When I was a housemaster, and this still happens now, when it's people's birthdays and they're away from home, then my wife would come through with a birthday cake and the whole house would sing happy birthday to them. And we're well aware of those pressure points and things that are happening. So we, for example, keep an eye on the news. If we see there might be disquiet or something happening overseas, we pick that up and talk to those children, because they will have seen it and they need to know that even though it's far away, we are aware of the pressures they may be facing. So we think very, very carefully about how we look after all our children. But anyone who has come from overseas has that extra level of special care, because we know they're a long way from home, and that helps.
Amazing. Okay, so we have another question. It says, how does the school support kids that are already in a football academy in the UK?
That's a great question. One of the reasons that Aldenham is chosen by people who are already in a football academy is because we are hugely experienced in balancing the pressure that they have from the academy. The academies like us because we are able to release them from time to time to go for special training or special work if they've got a match or a fixture coming up. The academies also know that we like them to play for the school teams, but we get that balance right. So there are plenty of schools that really don't want people who play for academies because it damages their school teams, or it means that perhaps the focus on their academics, they think it might drop. For us, we don't. We know that children who are busy, who are keen, who are energetic and focused can manage with a bit of support, both their academic work and their elite sports. So whether it's in a football academy, or whether they're performing for England or their own country in athletics or whatever it may be, we work very hard. So we have an elite sports people program where all teachers are aware of who these children are, the pressures they may be facing. We balance carefully the work that is set. We give them additional time to catch up, and they're supported in the boarding house to do so if they've had to take time out for training schedules. We manage that very, very carefully, which is why we have so many children in the school who are performing at an elite level, whether that be in music or on the Western stage or in sports academies. And certainly a number of professional football clubs put children here specifically because we manage that well. The director of sport was a professional footballer himself. And we have a number of other kind of close to pro footballers in the sports department. So they're well aware of those pressures, and we work very well together.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have the lead consultant for Brains and Butter in the house in person of Dr. Alo. Good morning, Dr. Alo.
Good morning, Da Silva. Always a pleasure to hear from you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I honestly would have really loved for you to say one or two things, but we're a bit behind schedule. So I'd love to move straight into the next.
Can we show them a screenshot very quickly of a parent who just said something about Aldenham? So if Ben is ready, he'll just share the screenshots, and I just thought it would be nice to show them very quickly. So I won't say anything other than that. So Ben, are we ready? Tech team?
Okay, please go ahead.
Yes. Do you want to scroll down to it? Yes, so we sent the agenda to a parent, and if you scroll down, just wanted to show you her response. Okay, so it's
another slide, I think.
Yeah, it's supposed to be another slide. Okay, so basically the mom said to us, I wish I knew about Aldenham for my second son. So just to let you know that, our parents are really paying attention and they like what they're hearing about Aldenham. So really amazing school. And we don't have time at this point in time, but when we come back for the panel session, we'll probably take some more questions. So for our parents who are on the call, now you know about Aldenham and the fantastic sports provision that they have and how they ensure that is properly balanced with the academics that your children will receive. So enough from me. Thank you, De Silva. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for your presentation, Mr. Dunstan. All right, so moving on now, we'll move to the next school, and that is Burgess Hills Girls School. Burgess Hills Girls School will be represented by Nicola Dunstan. She is the Assistant Head Boarding and Pastoral. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Burgess Hill Girls. I will just share my screen and then hopefully we can get started. Okay. Okay, so fingers crossed everyone can see that okay. So good morning, welcome again to Burgess Hill Girls. Hopefully I'm going to give you a flavour of the school. I also have with me two students in the school. So I have Mira, who is currently a student in year 10, and I have Malika, and she is a student in the lower 6. So a little bit later, they'll give you a little bit of a snapshot of their experience of the school as well. So in terms of location, we're very well situated in terms of our transport links. We're 40 minutes away from the capital, so you get into London Victoria in about 40 minutes, 50 minutes from King's Cross, about an hour from Heathrow Airport, and we are just 20 minutes from Gatwick. And we do provide an airport transfer service as well. And we also take huge benefit from being just on the coast. So we have Brighton Beach very close to us, just 10 minutes away as well. So really great location. In terms of who we are, well, we are girls only, and we are champions of girls' education. We have day and boarding students in our school, and we do have students who we do sponsor, who are day students and obviously live in the local area, as well as those who board, and we have 2 international boarding houses. We have a nursery right through to the 6th form. So for us, it really is about that whole experience, that journey that students have with us through the whole school. Our boarders tend to range from 11 to 18. And they have a different programme for them across the 2 boarding houses, depending on what year groups they're in. So if you're in the 6th form, you will be taking part in what we call our Next Steps programme. And you might be doing things like Come Dine With Me competitions to prepare yourselves for university. We have about 470 students in the school in total, and about 56 of those are boarders, which makes up about 12% of our school as a whole. We are academically selective, but for us, it's about knowing that individual student. So if they, aren't a top high flyer in terms of their academics, but they have something else that they will bring to the school, then we want to really have a look at that potential that students could have as well. We are highly creative, and you'll see that from our results, but particularly in sports, music, arts in particular, and drama. Excuse me. I have mentioned the location and obviously the closeness to the airports. Of course, exceptional pastoral care. I think in terms of a boarder who is supported in the school from the outset when you take part in our boarders induction week, which happens before the school term starts in September, it really makes sure that children are settled in, well cared for, and know who they can turn to right from the outset. And then when they are in the day school, we make sure that we don't have any form groups sort of bigger than about 20 to make sure that our form tutors can really get to know those students in the school. Outstanding higher education and career support, particularly for our sixth formers. They recently took part in the Lower Six networking dinner, where they're linked either with one of our bold girls, who are our alumni, or they're linked to somebody in industry to help them get work experience and really have that expertise from the horse's mouth, as it were, from the people who are going to be going into those careers. First-rate education, of course, but also great value for money. So it's all those, I suppose, those money can't buy things that you are getting at Burgess Hill Girls in terms of that sense of community and in terms of making sure that we do know everyone as an individual. In terms of some of the key things, I won't go through all of these things, I'm conscious of time, but reputation for leadership and innovation. So really making sure, particularly in our sixth form with the BOLD programme, students are taking leadership opportunities. They are making sure that they have aspirations in terms of some outreach that they might want to be able to do in the local community. So what else can they contribute? What else can they give in order to make sure that they can move on and get that top university place? We really do encourage that balance between academic work, making sure that they have some time with their peers and just some downtime as well, due to what the pressures look like in terms of their academic work sometimes and the pressures they put on themselves, and making sure that they do volunteer out in our community and making sure that they're well-rounded citizens. In terms of our results, so 91% of our A-level students last year, it was A star to B grades achieved, 61% A star to A, 50% taking maths scored A star, and 100% taking art scored A star A, and that has been 100% A star A consistent in art for the past 4 years for our A-level students. In terms of the EPQ, that is the extended project qualification, and students complete that in their lower 6th year. So it does mean that they've got an additional A-level qualification prior to making those university applications. So they get the results around January time in their upper 6th year, and a lot of universities then lower their offers because the EPQ is seen as such a serious piece of academic research and the academia that it holds. So our students actually really enjoy taking part in the EPQ. In terms of our GCSE results, 46% of all exams were graded 9 or 8, 68% of all entries graded 9 to 7, 100% 7 to 9 in art and music. Again, that's been consistent across the last couple of years, and 65% 7 to 9 in STEM subjects. And we are ranked as one of the top girls' schools in West Sussex. So where do those students go on to? You know, when they've been through that school, they've had that experience with us, they've done all those outreach things that we want them to be able to get involved with. So last year, 93% went on to university, The other percentage who didn't go to university went on to things like apprenticeships in industry, and also a couple of them took a gap year to get some work experience before they actually went on to their university course. 54% took up places at Russell Group universities. 90% secured a place at their first choice institution on results day. And girls applied for 96 distinct university courses. And I think that really is a sort of an indication, if you like, as to that individualized care and knowing the girls as individuals, making sure that they go on to something that they want to do. And that could have been something from game art to medicine. So a huge range of different university courses there. In terms of the extracurricular program, well, we have an extracurricular program that runs Monday to Friday in the day school, and then we have a separate boarding enrichment program that happens at the weekends. So in terms of the extracurricular, you are looking at, of course, sport, music, art, drama. We also do textiles here. In terms of sport, we have students who really enjoy things like badminton, volleyball. We have a ski racing team. So if you have a student who really wants something a little bit different, then hopefully we might be the school that's able to offer that. Girls' oracy and the ability to be able to speak out is something that we are advocates for. So we take part in a lot of public speaking and debating with other local schools as well. Engineering education scheme. So we have a couple of local businesses to us very close. We have American Express. We also have CAE, which is the flight simulator. We also have Edwards, which is an engineering company. So we have a link with all of those in order to be able to give our students hopefully some work experience, but also take them for days in industry to have a look at what those they look like. And maths and science Olympiads. So last week we had a huge range of schools, about 40 students join us, and they took part in the Royal Chemistry Society top of the bench competition. So in terms of boarding life, we have 2 boarding houses on site. We have Avondale, which is slightly smaller, that houses 17 students, and we have Silverdale, and that houses approximately 38 students. Girls across the ages of year 7 through to 18 live across both houses, and hopefully those older students become obviously good role models for the younger students in the houses. So this is probably a good point to let Mira have a little bit of a conversation with you about what her experience of being a boarder is in the school.
Hi everyone, I'm Mira, and I think being aboard in this boarding house is a really wonderful and awesome experience, as we have this variety of activities and sessions at the weekends. So then we would feel really fulfilled during the weekend. And also in the week we have Tesco trips, and also we also get some chill time when we're alone. So it's like a mixture of getting engaged in the community and also working hard as an individual. And I would say one thing that I really learned from the boarding house is the independence. I feel like I am more confident, because in the beginning I was really shy and I didn't know how to speak up, but they really accompanied me and really helped me through this journey.
Okay, thank you, Mira. In terms of supporting our students, I mentioned that knowing students' individuals, our sense of community, but that small form groups as well, and lots of opportunity across the year groups for that inter-year group socialisation through different house activities, also be that competitions that the sixth formers are running themselves. We also have lots of integration between day and boarding students, so lots of events that the boarding community run where they can invite day students over to the boarding houses too. And we do allocate during the week a one-to-one session with students' form tutors to check in with them. In terms of supporting our students upon arrival, I'm going to introduce Malika at this point. So Malika joined us from Uzbekistan in September, and she'll talk to you about how she was supported.
Hello everyone. So the school supported me a lot when I arrived.
since being a new student and coming to new school is hard, so they helped me a lot to settle in and adapt to new education system. So the first week we had a different trips that helped me a lot when I started school. Moreover, they helped me a lot with my A-level choices. And they help a lot beyond school as well with extracurricular activities. I'm part of a Make a Difference club where we do different sales to raise money for charities, networking dinner, and so much more. So they really helped me to grow as an individual as well, improve my confidence, my leadership skills, and so much more. So the school is really, really supportive.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so a couple of things in terms of for you as parents. We don't have EXIAC weekends anymore. We have a couple of optional weekends out, but it does mean that our boarders can stay year round with us. And obviously go home for their holidays. It means that they get that continuity of care and ensure that they are able to obviously keep that community aspect over the weekends. We try as much as possible to have that parental contact. If we needed to talk to you, that relationship that we have with you as parents and the guardians is really important. And obviously making sure that we provide that academic and wellbeing provision at the same time. Just to mention that our boarders do come back a week earlier and they do take part in a boarding inductions week just to make sure that they are nice and settled before they start their academic subjects a week later. So if you wanted to ask me any questions about the school at this point, then I'm more than happy to take those questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that presentation, lovely presentation there. Okay, so we have two questions here already. In what ways does the school ensure students leave with not only academic qualifications, but also a solid foundation in emotional intelligence, self-awareness, and life skills? Then the second question says, what percentage of your students are international students?
Okay, so let me do the sort of life skills type question first. So our students are throughout the school, they do take part in different wellbeing sessions, which do touch on their emotional intelligence aspects. And they do that within form groups throughout the week. And there's a weekly session for them to be able to do that. In terms of when they're in the sixth form, when they are completing the BOLD program, which is about leadership and opportunities, it's also about their personal interactions. So they have things like Viva interviews to make sure that their social and personal interactions when they go off to university are obviously, that they're obviously able to do those things as well. In terms of the second question, let me just remind myself of it. The percentage of international students. Yeah, so you're looking at about 12 or 14%, depending on the year, are international students, which means that there is a smaller community in terms of boarding, which is a huge advantage for us. But also in terms of the wider school, you know, that diversity that those students bring is really fantastic. We had a previous student from Nigeria, and she actually led the way in making sure that the school had an identity day. And she has, that was kind of her legacy, really. And so I think she left about 4 or 5 years ago now. And she has actually, we actually still continue to do our identity day. So again, lots of opportunities to make sure that particularly our international community are really recognised in the school.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for that presentation. And it's always a pleasure to have you. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the next school, and that is Caterham School. Representing Caterham School, we have Mr. Matthew Wood. He's the Deputy Headmaster for Caterham School. Good morning, Mr. Matthew.
Good morning. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm thrilled to be here today. I'm going to start with a presentation. So hopefully that has worked. Caterham School is an award-winning leader in education in the UK and around the world. And it's a pleasure being with you here today to explain to you a little bit about how the school works and about why you might be interested in us. As you can see from the slide there, we're a school which is highly reputable and an award winner in many categories, including our approach to digital and innovation, our approach to our outstanding wellbeing and pastoral care. And we were named the Independent School of the Year 2023, something we're very proud of. But I'll start with a video.
Is there a sound?
We can't hear any sound.
That's okay. Images are important too. See the context of the school here. The outstanding environment, setting. Considerable amount of green space, clean air. This is our theatre. Dance studio, Performing Arts Centre. School with heritage, we're over 200 years old. One of our boarding houses. Founded in 1811. So a school with an outstanding environment and context. We have 200 acres of land, considerable amount of sports facilities, several buildings. We're quite a large school in the UK, 1,300 from 4 to 18. And a place where boarders enjoy living, enjoy working, enjoy making connections for life. I have the great fortune as deputy head to live on site with my wife and 4 children. And you can take it from me, it is an outstanding place to live. And this beautiful valley that we live in is actually incredibly close to London and to transport links, which makes Caterham a very effective and successful option for international families. In the school, we have just under 200 boarders, of which 2/3 of those boarders are international. And so families benefit from the connectivity with London Heathrow, which is just under an hour away, and London Gatwick Airport, which is just 20 minutes away. London is 40 minutes by train, which means we have great connectivity with a global city, a place where we go for seminars at universities, we take students to art galleries, etc. It's an outstanding opportunity for all our boarders. A word that I'm very proud to associate with Caterham is balance. Tatler described us as a school which sets the perfect balance, and I'm very proud of that fact. This image here is the Wilberforce Hall, which you could consider as the heart and soul of the school. 200 years of heritage and tradition are really important to us, but we're also a school which balances that against digital innovation, entrepreneurialism, and an excitement about the future. We are the only school in the world, we think, that has created an ed tech startup inside the school as a subsidiary, using our pupils as beta testers and developing AI products for education, being used by pupils right now in Caterham School and by staff at Caterham School, and also being sold to other schools and education ministries around the world. So we're a school which balances both heritage and tradition of 200 years plus with a forward-looking and progressive approach. We have balance in the fact that we are co-educational, balance in the fact that we have international students and UK students, close to London, but in that beautiful valley. You're also going to learn now about the balance between our academics and our co-curricular. Academically, we are an extraordinarily strong school. We're a top 5 co-ed day and boarding school in the UK. Our A-level results put us 30th in the UK, and our GCSE results are on average, the grade is 8.1. That's 1,500 GCSE grades every year. The average grade is 8.1, where 9 is the top grade. 71% of all A-level results last year were A-star or A, which is an outstanding attribute and an outstanding testament to the school's success. But these grades are not there for the sake of the grades. The grades are a ticket to onward locations, and we're very proud of where our pupils go. Our pupils become apprentices for leading companies, but they also go to top universities around the world. 85% of our upper sixth leavers will go to their first choice university and course, 95% if you take the insurance courses as well. And they're going to some of the world's best universities. Last year, we had 26 offers from US colleges, including 3 Ivy League full scholarships. Just this month, in fact, 2 weeks ago, we had news that 9 of our pupils will be moving on to Oxford in September across a range of subjects, both humanities, law, engineering, and STEM. These are boarding students as well as day students. We are particularly proud of our profile with medical schools in the UK and around the world, and all medical schools are challenging to get into. We have 100% record for getting students into med schools for the last 2 years, and the last 10 years is an over 95% record. So the grades are not just there for the sake of the certificates, they're there to enable our students to go to some of the best universities and best courses in both the UK, the US, and around the world. Academically, then, we're a school which is highly successful. However, education at Caterham is not just about academics, and the word balance comes back to the fore. We are a school which is proud and enormously passionate about co-curricular opportunity, because UK boarding is not just about academics. It's about developing a rounded character, developing social skills and personal characteristics that will set students up for the rest of their lives. And be that in the orchestra, or in the armed cadet force, or in drama, or in innovation and technical clubs, it doesn't matter. The pupils will learn social skills, technical skills, and really enjoy their time at the school. They'll learn oracy, public speaking, and the like. We have over 160 clubs that run every single week for different age groups across a whole range of co-curricular areas. So it is a remarkable attribute of the school and a strength of ours. Pupils here don't just work the whole time. Pupils here enjoy a whole range of new opportunities. We have a very large trips program as well, both domestic residential and international residential trips, meaning that the Caterham experience is a broad and rounded one. But something that Caterham is incredibly famous for, something that we lead the UK sector, perhaps the international sector in, is in our approach to pastoral care and well-being. And you're not looking at the London Tube map here. What you're looking at is a graphic which identifies some of the key strands of a well-being curriculum that has been developed here, is taught here to every pupil every week, and is something that we're enormously proud of. We're the first school in the country to be given the National Wellbeing Award for Schools, and we are proud that we're the only school in the country to have been given that twice. Our approach to wellbeing is enormously important. We prepare pupils to face the challenges of life rather than fighting fires. Innovation and digital, as I was saying, is crucial. And you can see the logo here for RileyBot, which is one of our AI-powered chatbot apps, which the pupils use on a daily basis to enhance their learning. We are an EdTech 50 school and an Apple Distinguished school. That means that 50 educators, leading educators from France, came to visit us last week to find out how we use Apple products to the best of their potential here at Caterham. We are teaching other educators in the world how to use these products, and we're proud of that recognition from Apple. Being at Caterham means that you're looking forward to the rest of your lives, ambitious and optimistic. And we are very proud of the global professional network that we have created for our pupils. And pupils at Caterham benefit from an international network through a digital platform which enables them to make connections and prepare for their onward careers. It's a very powerful provision for the school and for our pupils here. Boarding at Caterham is, of course, outstanding, an offshoot of our amazing pastoral care. The community is kind. The community is almost all full boarding, which means our weekend community is vibrant, and the activities and program they have is outstanding across our 3 boarding houses. And just a little bit on admissions, I want to invite you to visit Caterham. I'm passionate about the fact that we are an open door school. You would be incredibly welcome to visit here in person or connect with me virtually for a meeting on Zoom. And I would get to understand you, your family, and your requirements. Tour of the school, tour of boarding. It's really important that you feel very warmly welcome at Caterham. It's something that we are famous for. We have a range of scholarships. We have 3 points of entry for boarding, 13, 14 and 16 plus. And I'm going to be speaking again as part of this amazing fair that I'm excited to be a part of on Friday. And if you'd like to hear more from me, slightly different in style with a question and answer with a current pupil who is in boarding from Nigeria, it would be my pleasure to welcome you there as well on Friday. But for the moment, I believe we're going to dive into some questions and answers, and it'll be my pleasure to take your questions. So thank you for that.
Thank you for that presentation. Amazing presentation there. Friends, if you have questions, please feel free to drop your questions. All right, we have one question already. How do students receive support when navigating key life decisions, such as choosing university courses, career paths, or handling personal crisis during their time at school?
That's a fantastic question. Thank you. There are 2 strands to this. The first is creating a culture inside the school of optimism, of students that are willing to take risks, willing to be ambitious for their futures. And if that is the culture in the school, and that you can imagine how infectious and contagious that culture is, then pupils, when they're thinking about their futures, are ambitious. They already are hearing from their friends about university courses and career opportunities. They may be attending our Caterham Connected events in London, where they get to network with people in the Caterham Connected community, our professional network. So they are, we are actively creating a culture and a range of opportunities that that feeds into people's ambitions. The second is about how we support and navigate, and that strand is equally important. So we have tutors, heads of year, housemasters, assistant housemasters, etc. And these people have a duty to ensure that pupils are thinking about their futures, are happy, and that their well-being is strong, that they're making the most of the resources, both extension and support, academic and pastoral, at the school. And so a mixture of these 2 strands means that our students are prepared to navigate the decisions of life, be that university or career, and they are able to handle, the challenges that life throws them, and life will throw them challenges. Our wellbeing curriculum emphasizes them having the emotional intelligence and emotional literacy to be able to deal with those issues when they come about. We're not a school that fights fires. We try and prepare our students to be, as we call it, great adults. So thank you for that question.
Okay, so I'd like to ask, I like the fact that the academic aspect of your school is really robust. So how about the sporting aspects? Can you speak more on that?
Yeah, so sport is a very important part of boarding education in the UK, as you will have heard from many of the presentations today. And that's something that is an essential ingredient of a Caterham education too. We are blessed with outdoor space, clean air, green fields, and that means that it is easy to get our pupils active. We have a huge range of sports in the school, both the traditional sports you'd expect, rugby, football, hockey, cricket, netball, swimming, athletics, but also perhaps some less common sports, fencing, archery, badminton, table tennis, basketball, taekwondo, the list goes on really. We're a school which is also blessed with scale and size. We have 1,000 in the senior school. We have 350 almost in the sixth form. It means that we can put on a huge range of different clubs and sporting opportunities for our pupils. That could be Pilates, it could be using our performance gym, which we think is the best gym in the country. And if you disagree with me, come and visit. So, you know, it's an amazing opportunity for sport at the school. The principles behind our sport are two. One is performance. We have superb coaches trying to take excellent talent and make that talent successful. And the second is participation. We want even students who don't think they're sporty to feel welcome in our sports program, excited about maybe a new opportunity. That could be lacrosse they've never played before, and that they participate in team sport. Team sport is such a joy. It was what I thrived off as a young person, and it's what we aspire all our catering students thrive off too. So sport is a very big part of all boarding schools in the UK, but especially here at catering.
Amazing. Thank you for that answer. Okay, Dr. Arlo, would you want to say one or two things?
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Mr. Wood. You know, listening to your presentation, I can see why. I have a very good friend, as you know, whose children are at Caterham, and I can see why she was like so bent on Caterham. They actually bought a house about 2 years before they brought their children over, and I can see why, because there's so many things to really like about Caterham, and I particularly like how forward thinking you are, and the fact that, to the best of our knowledge, you're the first school to have launched an ed tech startup. I think that is absolutely amazing to start that within a school environment. I think it's phenomenal. Very quickly, if you could please speak to our parents about the admissions process and how selective or not very selective or discerning and what that process looks like, because obviously it's a fantastic school, and with what you have on offer, parents will consider that.
Thank you. The admissions process, it is competitive, and we have a large number of applications for every place. However, the word there's a theme, hopefully, of the presentation is the word balance. We are not a school which only requires academic output and performance, because we're passionate about a broad, holistic, and rounded education, which means that the admissions process matches that. We're not only looking at academic output and performance, we're looking at students' character, their enthusiasm, their eagerness to contribute to a community which is vibrant, their eagerness to benefit from, not even contribute to, but benefit from a vibrant co-curricular program too. So it is a holistic process. And what I have found is that when I get to know families really well, and I want to reiterate, you're all warmly welcome to visit Caterham. It would be my pleasure to welcome you here. I'm getting to understand the children as individuals, because that's what we do as teachers. You know, I teach history at the school and I'm teaching the curriculum, of course, but I'm getting to know them as individuals and developing them as people. So in admissions, we are absolutely doing that. It is competitive. We do have students who are bright, but you don't need to be a rocket scientist already. We've made enough rocket scientists at the school. We know how to do that. You don't need to be a rocket scientist before entry, that's certain.
Amazing. And very quickly, what does that look like for those students who need some special needs support?
Special needs, I mean, as a school, we have a special educational needs department, like all outstanding schools. And it's something that we passionately believe shouldn't be a disadvantage in the admissions process. You know, pupils with dyslexia, for example, often think differently, think creatively, and they are wonderful attributes to any school, and we're lucky to have them. So that is no barrier at all. We have students who perhaps don't quite have the polish in terms of their academic trajectory to date that we're looking for, but we're not looking for polish. We're looking for potential. And that's why me meeting students, me meeting families, and the interview and getting to know the individual is really important to us.
Thank you.
Thank you for those questions, Dr. Allen.
My pleasure.
Okay, so we just saw Caterham School. So, ladies and gentlemen, parents, we have seen 3 schools so far. You have seen Oldenham School, Burgess Hill Girls School, and Caterham School. So before we move into the panel session, we'd like to do a quick recap by show of a video of all the schools that have presented so far. So if you just relax and watch the video.
we are looking forward to meeting you at Brains and Butter British Boarding School Fair. I love Burgess Hill Girls because it's helped me show off my identity in many ways, and I feel very loved and supported here.
Lovely videos we have there. Don't you love the schools already? The amazing, amazing schools you have there. So parents, if any one of the schools has touched you in that special way and you would love to put your children in any of these schools, please contact Brains and Butter. The contact form will be dropped in the chat room. Right now, you can fill the form, book an appointment with Brains and Butter, and let's start our journey to gaining admission for our children into any of these schools. So without much ado, we're going to move now into the panel session. But to speak to this topic for us before we go into the panel session proper, we have Mrs. Benedict Okusoya here to speak to the topic, the role of pastoral care in ensuring students' success. So after she has spoken, we would now have the panel session to have a more robust discussion around this topic. Ladies and gentlemen, parents, let us welcome Mrs. Benedict.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bernadette Ohio-Omonkhomion, like the Silver just introduced. Thank you so much for having me here. I am one of the associate consultants here at Brains and Butter. Also, just as my background is education, been in education for 15 years and counting. So in the capacity of being a teacher, a tutor, and all sorts. So I like to think that I have some experience in describing what pastoral care should look like and ensuring and the role of it in ensuring that students have great success and achievements in their education. Okay, joining me today also is my very beautiful daughter, 6 weeks old. She just got really hungry, so she's in view of you, just in case you can't see her. It's a baby that I'm feeding. So let's move on with the PowerPoint. Pastoral care has always been a cornerstone of education, holistic education, especially in environments where students are constantly navigating new challenges. It has been true for young children as well as older children that new challenges will present themselves as they grow. So in boarding schools or international study, it won't be no different. Okay, its significance lies not only in supporting academic excellence, but also fostering personal growth, emotional well-being, and resilience. So we are in education trying to form human beings who are holistic, who have emotional well-being and resilient to face the world at large. Next slide. So for parents listening to us today, pastoral care has been is a term that has been used by all the schools that we have listened to today. I personally was intrigued by Aldenham's pastoral care system and using the STAIR system in asking the students constantly about their emotional well-being. I know that the second school, I've gone blank now, the second school that we listened to also had an example of how the personal pastoral care its system is in place. And then we had also a last school who talked about the pastoral care support system in place that has been taught to the students, looking like the underground system. Okay, so pastoral care, for parents listening to us, is a support system put in place to nurture the emotional, social, and physical, spiritual well-being of your children within the school. Okay, so the emotional support given by the school, maybe whether it's through counselling or constantly asking about their well-being, like Aldenham School is doing with the STAIR questionnaire or system. The mentoring academic guidance is pastoral care, promoting positive mental health, which is what STAIR with Aldenham Schools doing. All of that is pastoral. It's a pastoral care put in system, and it's important, very, very important. Very, very important in ensuring that students are happy so that they can be at the optimum and achieve the best they can do. Okay. Apologies, people. Okay, so best practice and impacts in education that I've come across and should be happening in education, and I'm sure at this point in 2025 we all do in our schools across the country. Holistic support, okay, combining some emotional, academic, and social care within our educational system is the best practice. Collaborating. I keep talking about Aldenham's STAIR because I was really, really impressed when I heard that. Okay, regular check-ins with staff and parents for a team approach. So whether it's doing tutorial sessions, whether it's creating that environment for students to be able to speak out, to be able to air how they're feeling, or also their talents, whether it's debate skills, all of that. That is best practice, collaboration with check-ins with staff, with parents, also informing parents, informing students, that parents and staff and communication. Okay, the real world impact for good pastoral care or pastoral care in ensuring that students are successful will make students more engaged, resilient, and academically successful. Okay, the challenges that we might face in education at the moment with pastoral care might be limited resources, just having the hands and the know-how to provide for our students what they need. Okay, sometimes also there is pushback in the support system that is in place because there might be a stigma attached to maybe mental health, for instance, and knowing how to navigate through all those challenges, knowing how to support when it's needed for our young people. Okay, next bit of the slide. Why pastoral care is important in modern education? Obviously, in an increasingly competitive, fast-paced world, students are under immense pressure to succeed. Okay, coupled with the challenges of adapting to multicultural environments and living away from home, this pressure can take a toll on their mental health. It's very important, pastoral care. Pastoral care acts like a stabilizing force, ensuring students remain grounded and supported through their life in school. Okay, so let's conclude. Okay, pastoral care is not an add-on to education. It's, like I said, it's been there since the inset of education. Especially this is true for younger students. You couldn't educate children without having pastoral care. It's an integral part of it. Schools that prioritize pastoral care invest in their students' future by nurturing their emotional, social, and academic well-being. As the saying goes, a well-supported student is a successful student, and a pastoral care ensures that every learner is given the foundation to thrive. Okay. So just for parents out there who are wondering, why are these schools talking about our pastoral care? There was such an emphasis from the schools this morning to this afternoon about their pastoral care. It's because they want to ensure that your children are looked after emotionally, physically, socially, and also built to thrive in a changing world, in a really big world as ours. Thank you very much. That's me done.
Thank you so much. That was quite educative. Okay, so let's go into the panel session. Let's discuss. Dr. Alo, are you there? Just checking so I know. Okay, thank you. So, and on this panel, we have Dr. Alo, we have Mrs. Benedict, she's still here, and we have Paul Dunstan. Do we have Liz Beach here as well? Thank you, thank you. Okay, so I'll start with Mr. Dunstan. Yes, so Mrs. Benedict spoke about the balancing academic needs of students with emotional support. We all know that especially children who are teenagers, they struggle with understanding their emotions and all of that. So what does your school do to help them balance this aspect of their lives and still help them focus on their academics?
I don't know whether everybody was here when we talked about our model of education or not, because I know some people as parents joined a bit later, but the Aldenham School model of education actually focuses entirely on this whole balancing act. For the sake of showing that, let me just quickly pull this up on the screen, and then you'll be able to see how this works. Hopefully you'll be able to see that as it comes up.
Yes, we can.
You can see that, yeah. So at Aldenham, we have this model of education that does balance entirely our pastoral care with the academic and the co-curricular. We believe that people are whole children, you know, and you can't just be one thing or another. I was answering one of your parents' questions about this. We see it like an ecosystem. If you imagine you have, for example, a lake and a forest and a beach and other areas together. If somebody focused only on the forest, then what would start to happen is that the lake itself would not be sort of used properly. If you bulldoze the forest and get rid of the forest, then you find that not only are you damaging the trees, you're also damaging the lake, you're damaging the rest of the ecosystem. So we have to focus on children as whole people. They do need their co-curricular provision, they do need their sport, they do need their academics, and they do need their personal pastoral care. If one area is lacking, then the rest of it also disappears. And you'll find that this is why, with our model of education, that you start to find that people get this this cycle of motivation and success. It's very hard to be motivated academically if you're feeling down personally and pastorally. It's very hard to succeed in your co-curricular program if you know you're under pressure because your academics aren't very good. So you have to balance everything and work very carefully with all these interlinking cogs to make it work. So in answer to the question about what we do, and thank you to Mrs. Bernadette for recognizing our STEER education program. The STEER education is a platform. It is used by some other schools actually, but we're a STEER champion school. And it is a regular check-in that all the students complete a questionnaire. It's a very skillfully made digital questionnaire that enables them to check answers about how they're feeling and to regulate their emotions. And it covers so many areas of their life that the system is able to pick up situations where the children might be struggling in a particular area. And as I said before, sometimes before they even know it themselves. So we get regular feedback and reports that we are able then to check in with those children and begin to help them recognize and understand where they may be struggling. So that is a very crucial part of what we do, but that's not the whole of what we do. For us, as you saw in our model of education, belonging is so crucial. Any child from anywhere who feels like they don't belong, either within their particular peer group or in a location, or they just feel like they don't fit in some way, makes everything else more difficult for them. So we make sure that people feel they have a place to belong. So it's a very homely environment. People often talk about how there's a family atmosphere at Aldenham. As I said, whether it's us making somebody a birthday cake on their birthday so they realize they're not forgotten, that enables them to feel at home and feel content and comfortable. And likewise, they are known by their teachers. We have small classes. They are known by their teachers. They're not just one amongst thousands of others. And that helps people recognize that individual children function differently. And also, it's very important for us as a school that we celebrate everything from academic success, of course, but also we will give due praise to somebody who's achieved a new grade in a musical instrument, or somebody who's done well to go on their Duke of Edinburgh expedition, even though for them that was a real challenge. So we celebrate different areas of life and give value to each of them so that they develop as whole children. It's only possible to succeed and be confident and comfortable and well-rounded if you're succeeding in every area of your life. So we provide pastoral care in many, many ways. Yes, they have a personal tutor that they meet every day. They also have a housemaster or a housemistress that they will meet every day and who will look after them. There are resident tutors in the boarding house who get to know them very, very well in their downtime, as well as seeing them in the classroom or on the sports field or on the stage. So we get to know the children in the round. But in addition to that, as well as all of those basic touch points, children always have somebody else they can talk to. A bit like sometimes, you know, we would hope that our children would speak to us as parents, but sometimes they feel a little bit more confident opening up to another trusted adult because they might be an embarrassment or something. Here at Aldenham, we provide other avenues. So we have a full counselling service with a professional trained counsellor. We also have a full listening service with a professional trained listener who's not a counsellor, but they are a listener. They're trained in listening. We have an independent listener situated outside the school who they don't know, but is a voice they can talk to. We have a chaplain because we have this Christian foundation, and the chaplain is able to deal with things on a more spiritual side if people need that and are concerned about their faith in some way. And that works for Christians and for people of no faith or other faiths as well. We provide space and care in every way. So the children always find there is somewhere they can go if they have any concern. And we also have a buddy system. So older students who've been through the same situation as them are able to deal with this. And we recognize the rhythm of a school life. And as teenagers grow, their whole brains rewire themselves and they struggle with their emotions. They struggle with their development, but we are experienced. We've seen it a lot, and we work with these students and tell them this is normal to feel this way. and we will support you through to your next stage. So I agree with what Mrs. Bernadette says. It's absolutely essential. As a school, we are quite unique in our area. We are surrounded by a lot of schools who place almost their entire focus on the academic. And they are beginning now to wake up, I have to say, and realize that that leads you sometimes with some fantastic results, but you then struggle when you leave school because you've been trained very well to pass exams, but you don't actually know how to cope with the stresses and strains of life. And they're having to deal with that. And they find some of their children drop out of university, or they just can't cope with the pressures of working in a job. The Aldenham student tends to be someone who leaves confidently, well-rounded, and is able to cope with the stresses and strains of life precisely because of this pastoral care.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah. So, someone would say it is people train people to cope with success, but nobody actually really trains you to cope with failure. But
Absolutely,
these two things are actually very essential. Yeah. Okay. So, Dr. Arlo, to what extent would you say is the school's responsibility to train children in emotional intelligence, social intelligence, academic intelligence? Would you say it's entirely the school's responsibility, or do you think parents do have, to an extent, a part to play?
It is definitely not the school's responsibility. The school will add on to what the parents have done. It is fundamentally a parental responsibility. I've seen a number of cases where parents will leave their responsibilities to the school, and that is not correct at all. You need to have done your job as a parent as well. So it is fundamentally the parent's responsibility to raise a well-rounded child. And of course, the school will add to that as well. I've got a number of things I want to just very quickly run through. But first of all, big thank you to Bernadette. I know what it's like to be a nursing mother and still give a fantastic presentation. I really dock my hat for you, Bernadette. I celebrate you. Well done. Thank you so much for doing that. I cannot overemphasize how how important pastoral care is within the educational system. I constantly visit schools. Schools have amazing websites. Schools will fundamentally give you the academic provision. But you see that pastoral care, wraparound care, that is another kettle of fish entirely. And that's where, for me, as a consultant, particularly for families who live abroad, that's where it really lies. Because I mean, there are marketing teams who will do a fantastic job online. What you've heard today, you would not see on the website. I mean, you may get a bit of a feel for it, but you really need to hear firsthand from SLT members of schools or visit the schools to really have a feel for what pastoral care looks like. Sometimes I just look at the children and I see a child skipping on the corridor with just so much joy. And that for me is it, because the child doesn't know I'm watching, but I'm watching. I'm watching the classrooms, I'm watching the teachers, I'm watching team members, and there's so much about the school culture I can tell you about the pastoral care that is in place. And it's really key because, like Mr. Dunstan said, the senior school years are very key years. If you remember your time in senior school, you will know that there were a number of transitions you were going through as a teenager and just coming into your own. Yes, the independence, a boarding school education gives you that independence. Yes, we know that, but it's also important that these young adults who are just finding their way in life are really given that support, those avenues to feel heard, right? To know that there's someone there for them, or there's an outlet, or there's that support system in place for them as they navigate through school life. And for some children, the pressures of exam, like Bernadette was saying, just the pressure to succeed, and maybe the pressure from home as well. You have to come. I'm spending so much money on your education. You better do very well. Like, so there's a lot that these children have to go through, and having a strong pastoral care system in place really, really goes a long way. So this is why, and I'm not saying this because I'm a consultant, but this is why I strongly recommend that parents talk to people like Bennett and myself, because we will tell you things you will not see online. And I'm glad parents are here as well. This is why coming for fairs like this is really, really important. Now you have such an amazing understanding, feel for these schools beyond what you've seen online. So that's it from me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's quite informative. Okay, would Liz Beach have something to say? Would you want to contribute to the topic?
Only to confirm really what Mr. Dunstan said. The priority is making sure the children are happy, and when they're happy and comfortable in the environment, that's when they're going to achieve.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so Mrs. Benedict, just to wrap this up, would you have want to have a closing remark? Just few words just to wrap this topic up.
You're on mute, Bernadette.
You're muted.
Apologies. Apologies. As we've all said, pastoral care is a very integral part of education and ensuring that our children excel and achieve in the best capacity. It's just a word to our parents, as well as looking at your schools and seeing what's best fit for your child. Academically, you have to also look at how your child is going to be supported and cared for, especially because they're home away from home. Okay, just a pointer to parents that you're looking at that as well. You're not just looking at GCSE results. You're not just looking at how they've created doctors and lawyers and engineers in the past few years. You're looking at how they've been cared for, and that way your child is able to thrive in the bigger world. Because there is, again, education is just a passing through phase, isn't it? It's just one part of their life. It's not their whole life. I mean, not education. They're secondary and their sixth form life. Not just. It's not the whole world, you know. So it's important for parents to know that and consider that when they're looking at schools. Thank you.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, I would have loved to let Dr. Arlo go now, but I remember something. So, Brains and Butter, part of their services is mentoring. Would you like to speak a little about that mentoring aspect of Brains and Butter and how it relates to this pastoral care we've been talking about?
Absolutely. So at Brains and Butter, we don't just stop at the placement of the child in the school. We're there for the whole journey. So we work with families and their children in making sure they have a guardianship system in place. And it really does vary from one family to another, because some children are fine and honestly are thriving by themselves. The schools are doing a fantastic job. So there really isn't that much else that we need to do. However, should they need us to come in for a parents' open evening, for example, where we get to see the teachers and speak to the children's teachers, we very much have that in place if the mom or dad can travel down for that. If we have cases where a child could do with some therapy, we've recently had a sort of a divorce situation which has impacted on the child, and we've gotten she's an integrative therapist who's working with the child to support her through the process, because exams are around the corner as well. So there are many ways. Whenever there are any gaps that we identify, we're there to fill in the gap, because again, it takes a village to raise a child, as we often say. So we're part of that village beyond the placement that has been provided or done.
Amazing, amazing. So parents, you've heard it all. Thank you so much for this session, for this discussion. I honestly wish we could go on and on, but as usual, time is not on our side. We have to bring the fair to a close today. So this is where we wrap up for today, but tomorrow is definitely another day. We're going to be here again tomorrow. A big thank you to all the parents that have stayed on up till this time. A big thank you to all the schools that have shown up as well. Mrs. Benedict, thank you so much. Dr. Alo, I should thank you as well for making yourself available. Yes, I know you have very busy schedule, but this is important to you, so you have made yourself available. Thank you so much. So see you again tomorrow. Remember to tell your friends, family, and everybody who is supposed to be at the fair that the fair is happening again tomorrow. Same time, 11 a.m. UK time, 12 noon Nigerian time. And remember to engage the forms in the chat room. Leave, drop a feedback. If you would want to book any appointment with Brains and Butter, please by all means fill the forms and they would reach out to you. It's always a delight to have everyone here, and it's always a delight to see everyone. So till I see you again tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Da Silva. Amazing job.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.